The Mark. Episode 1. Ethan's Dream. My head was spinning. I was on the verge of throwing up, but wasn't quite there yet. I felt it would be best just to get it over with, but the sickness remained with me. I threw 2 pills into my mouth and swallowed them dry. I swayed on the spot, waiting. A wave of sleepiness washed over me in an instant, and I crumpled to the floor. Usually when I took the pills, while I would be knocked out for some time, I never dreamed. It wasn't that kind of sleeping pill. It was more like a sedative, which was the point of it really, as my doctor didn't want me to dream. He knew I wouldn't be able to sleep that way. Still, even with all of these precautions, I felt myself slipping into a dream, and I did nothing to stop it. I was in the jungle. It was hot. It was so hot. I crawled into the shade of a giant tree which towered above me. My mouth was dry. It was like sandpaper. I pushed away those thoughts and focused. Why was I here? I knew I was dreaming, but I didn't feel like I was. I spent what felt like hours under that tree. People kept coming and going, walking by me. They paid no attention to me. Instead, they focused on staying out of the blinding sun. Occasionally, a small animal would come up to me, but they always left quickly. Then, a young woman came up to me. She looked to be about my age. She was wearing a hat with a large rim. I couldn't see her face, but she came over and stood beside me. I could tell she seemed sad. She bent down and picked up a small bottle that was lying beside me on the ground. She showed it to me. "Is this yours?" She wasn't judging. It was just a simple question. I nodded. "You know these won't get you anywhere, right? These are why you're here." I was confused. I didn't tell her so, but I didn't need to. She knew what I was thinking. This jungle, it isn't real. You know that. It's all in your head. But it's something you have yet to escape from. Instead of facing your problems, you're using these just to deliberate. You're using them to hold off the pain for a while, instead of trying to beat it. "I don't believe you," I said. "When I wake up, this'll all be over. I'll forget about it then." She looked around. "You've been here quite a while. Hours, it would seem. Are you certain you can wake up at all?" I wasn't frightened by this. The only thing I felt was curiosity. "Why shouldn't I be able to?" I asked. "The pills I took were strong. It would make sense that I'd be asleep for a while." "You aren't leaving here just yet," she said. "You will, but there are some things you have to know." "And what are those things?" I asked. "Firstly," she said, "know how lucky you are. Many others around the world would give a lot to be in your position." I laughed. "Lucky? The past 10 years have been near torture for me." I've seen no break in my suffering. You call this lucky? She nodded. You've suffered a lot, Ethan. It's true. But because of your suffering, many people will live who would have otherwise died. What do you mean? I asked. Something's coming, Ethan. You're in this jungle, this prison of your own making. You have to overcome the obstacles you've set before yourself. It's your duty to help the people that you're meant to save. But in order to find the strength you need to do that, you have to overcome the battles that are still going on inside your head. Find forgiveness for the people who've done this to you and for yourself. You talk like it's my fault, I said. I know I've made some mistakes. I know things haven't worked out the way I thought they should have. But can't you see? All of this is because of what happened in the accident. You put all of the blame on this accident, she said. But there are two problems. Firstly, you can't say that the mistakes you've made are because of it. Certainly, some problems have arisen because of it, but that doesn't mean you can't fix your mistakes. No one is beyond doing that. Secondly, there was no accident, Ethan. You'll learn soon enough. That memory is very hazy, isn't it? It's missing pieces. You figure that's because of some kind of amnesia, perhaps. But Ethan, the accident never happened. You were involved in something far more serious and far more sinister. Perhaps your mind blocked out those events and replaced them with something you could actually cope with. Maybe something else is at play. But know one thing. You have to figure out what actually happened if you want a chance at overcoming your struggles. Only by knowing the truth will you be able to confront your fears. When she finished speaking, I lay there in silence. I was very confused, but somehow I felt she was speaking the truth. What's going to happen, though? I asked. What am I supposed to save everybody from? She waited a moment. Then, she only spoke one more thing to me. Be careful when dealing with the flower. That was all she said. Then she uncapped the bottle of pills and dropped them all over the ground around me. Then she turned and walked away.